Welcome back to Dreamers Podcast. We're back with episode 16, and we're bringing you guys stories of individuals who are doing great things in their field. I'm Mani Rahman.
And I'm Asfan Musa, and today we're joined by Dr. Yara Shhab, an internal medicine resident at Geisinger Health System in Pennsylvania and founder of the Global Research Collective. She completed medical school in Bucharest, Romania before matching into residency in the United States, and her research spans clinical pharmacology, cardiology, and oncology with work presented at international conferences and published in scientific journals.
Behind her research and clinical training, Dr. Shab is dedicated to advancing clinical science, global scientific collaboration, and mentoring future healthcare professionals. Today, we're exploring her journey in her medicine, our contributions to research, and our vision for the future of healthcare. Dr. Shab, welcome to the Dreamers Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for the beautiful introduction. It's really nice to meet you guys.
Start with the first segment that we have is your beginning. I want to talk about your med school. I know you talked about now why I didn't talk about it, but initially when you did want to pursue medicine, why did you want to choose research alongside with that? Because a lot of people want to go more to the clinical side rather than just research as well, but you chose the research side as well.
That's a very good question, and I can't say that like from the very beginning, like I was very passionate about research. Especially coming from a 6-year program, I kind of explored this a bit later on. Kind of started in my fourth, fifth year. And it just started by the simple fact that I wanted to attend conferences. And I realized that, okay, as a student, you can present a couple of things, but I did feel a bit limited in my school at least. Initially, I thought it was because, like, oh, like maybe Romania is like not that strong on research or whatever. But I just realized that maybe like my classmates at the time were not did not have the same interests, which made it a bit harder because we all know like teamwork, collaboration, especially when it comes to both research and clinical medicine, is one of the most important things to like, have. So that's kind of how it started. I just wanted to attend more conferences and it started pretty simple. And also because I knew that I was gonna pursue a path in the US, I knew that like having some research would, be good to have on my CV. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
Okay. I think for a lot of people, it's like that, right? It's like trying to start with a CV and kind of get into research. But I know us funds really big into research. I, on
Yeah,
the other hand, do not enjoy it as much. So I got to give you guys props for that because
no.
it is very collaborative and a lot of hard work that
And it
goes
takes a
into it.
lot of time. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I used to hate working on research papers and stuff, or just even reading them back in, I would say, high school or early undergrad years as well. And then once I finally got involved in like research side, writing papers, manuscripts and stuff, that's when I found out like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And even though it takes a long time, like a paper generally takes about, I don't know, maybe anywhere from like 8 to 15 months to from the time you start writing to the time you get it published in a journal. So working on that, it seemed like such a long process, but every part of it, like it's these small wins that okay, the reviewer gave good feedback, or the co-authors, even the co-authors you're working with, they appreciate the work that you wrote. So all these things, I know it's not giving you instant gratification or instant reward, but over time, it is helping the field of medicine a lot. So that's why I like research side of medicine as well, and I'm involved in it in somewhat way. Yeah.
Definitely,
100% agree.
definitely.
And then talking more about your med school, you went to Carol Davila University?
The Villa,
Uh,
yes.
Davila, okay, sorry, my bad.
You're
It's a hard name to pronounce. But how did those early years shape you as a physician and researcher you are today?
So, first of all, Romanian is my native language, but I did school all of my life in English, and I
Hmm.
did med school in Romanian. So that was the first like setback that I had, because okay, I was comfortable speaking non-academic Romanian, but then starting med school along with all of the information, it was very hard for me to like adapt. But I feel like that first setback that I had and like overcoming it very early on kind of gave me the confidence and like kind of showed me that, okay, this is the right track for me and language should never be a barrier. So that was like my first thing that, okay, if I could do year one, and I was trying to be a bit more flexible with myself. Even my parents, they were like, try it out, see how it works. If you just feel like it's too much, you can always just find another path. So also having supportive parents definitely helps in this whole journey. But yeah, that early on just kind of gave me the resilience that I kind of needed throughout the 6 years and the confidence, because obviously, especially the 6 year program, you kind of need something to help you keep on pushing until the very end.
There was a 6 year medical school, like just
Is
the
it?
MD training, or was it
Yeah.
a combined program with something else?
No, so it's just like an MD school, but we don't have undergrad and
Okay. Okay.
pre-med
Yeah.
in Romania. So like
Like I
it's
feel like
straight out
most
of high
European schools
school.
are like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
That makes sense. So you go straight from high
High
school to
school.
your
Yeah.
yeah,
medical
yeah.
training, and then technically you do save 2 years compared to the US education system where
It's
you have
4 years
to do
undergrad and then
four
4 years
years
of med school.
undergrad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, but practically, I lost a year right after high school, so I had a gap and then another year before applying to the match. So yeah, I'm kind of the same age as my co-interns from the US.
That's amazing. Yeah, because a lot of people in the even in the US now, people are
Taking
doing
those gap
trying
years.
to take gap
Yeah.
years and right before jumping from one school, one 4 year college to another 4 year of medical college. So we did that, both Manib and I. We took our gap years because we didn't want to. I personally didn't want to jump into another 4 years schooling right after I just graduated and
I
stuff.
think
So
it's very important for gap years. Kind of just explore other options as well. Kind of find yourself as a person. Because if you go straight into from school to school, it does take a toll on you, right? You get burned out and all everything. So I think it's very important to take some time to yourself, figure out if this is really what you want to do. Because again, becoming a physician is a big deal. So I'm glad you did take that gap year, after high school before we're going in. 6 years.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love how what you said about that you had your parents there and your support system because it's so important to have a support system in this field where you are committed for years and you need your people to keep going
Definitely.
because they could catch up to you. So did you have your family living in Romania with you or
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Romania as a little like background. In sixth year, so my parents are originally Jordanian.
Mhm.
We moved back to Jordan just so we learned the language, which I'm very glad they did because now I gained another language, so I speak three languages. And but then like after high school, I wanted to go back to Romania. It kind of always felt like home. But also Jordan felt like home, so it's just kind of like a citizen of the world type of situation.
Mhm.
Now I moved to the US. This might be my
US?
home for the next
Uh-huh.
couple of years. So yeah. But yeah, I just always wanted to go back to Romania. So for med school, we my dad was already in between Romania and Jordan, and my older siblings, my brothers were in Romania. So it did not make sense like we split up in two countries, so we like all just moved back to Romania.
I love
That's
that.
nice. And then we
Yeah.
move on to the next segment.
Okay, wonderful. So I want to talk about the research side of medicine and all your research you've been doing. You've worked across several fields, including clinical pharmacology, cardiology, and oncology. What research area has fascinated you the most and why?
Oncology, because the
Oncology.
advances there, and it combines farm. So farm is, I love it. It's one of my favorite subjects, contrary to what every other med student
Uh-huh.
thinks.
Yeah, people don't
Do
usually
not
like
like pharmacology,
pharmacology.
yeah.
I know. But I loved pharmacology. And I also think it's because during my third year when I had farm, we had the pandemic still, so our classes were like all online. And so I had the time to like properly study it because I did not have to commute to school every day. So yeah, that's how my love for farm started basically. But yeah, back to your question, oncology. Seeing all of these advances every day and all of the research that just recently has been published from ASCO, it's all like super fascinating. So I really like oncology research, but also cardiology because, this is what I love about medicine. Like it never stops moving. Like
So
something
much to
always
pick
like
Yeah.
from.
yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
with technology as well. I feel like it's such innovation coming out right now, especially in oncology research. We've seen like cancers, so many different types of cancer, and I feel like there's so many different treatments and options that you have now, especially with AI and all this new technology coming out. So I do think oncology research will only continue to improve in that
Definitely,
sense.
definitely.
Did
And
you
just to
ever did you ever consider oncology residency or going into the oncology side of medicine or
That's
no?
a very good question. As research, I love it, but as clinically, I don't think I can handle it, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I shadowed a oncology physician recently because I like oncology as well, but then we were able to go through a very sad case and found out that the patient wasn't going to survive for too long. So that, yeah, just that hit me, and I told myself maybe I don't want to go into this field because it would be very sad.
Yeah.
Just work being in that. I mean, I know you get like some good cases where you are able to help the patients out and give the happiness and hope to the families, but majority of the cases would be very sad. And I don't think I would be able to handle it either. So I don't
Yeah.
blame you for
I
that.
It's very emotionally tied field.
Agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really respect oncologists and how they can. I mean, obviously, all of medicine has like its sad cases and happy cases,
Mhm.
but I feel like in oncology, it's like just a different level. So you have to
Yeah.
be
I
like
know.
very, like, you
I
need to have
even
your barriers set very, very like tightly and good. So yeah.
Yeah.
I asked the physician, the oncologist, and I asked her like, how do you handle like being in this field and does it get to you? And she said, yes, it does get to her. Oftentimes, like she has to go and get therapy and like just be involved in therapy consistently because if she doesn't do that, then her work life would affect her personal life, and then she would bring it at home and probably, yeah, wouldn't be able to like just handle life in a better way. So she has to consistently go to therapy and make sure she is not letting work affect her personal life. So yeah, big respect to oncologists out there in medicine. But my next question, I know research often involves like setbacks and rejected ideas and unexpected challenges. What has been one of the most important lessons you have learned through the research process since you started?
Okay, that's a very good question because when I first started my fourth, fifth year of med school, I just wanted any project to get involved in. And because then it was also the pressure of like having a good CV as a student. And initially, I thought that I did not like research, and it felt more like an obligation back at the time, which I just thought that, okay, I just need to get this done with to have it on my CV, which obviously is very bad because at the end of the day, like research is to improve patient care. But I don't blame myself because I was a student who was stressed back then. But the lesson that this made me learn is that if like you come up with a question, you really like the question and the topic, it's never going to be the case. So maybe Munib, you too, if you like explore an area that you really like, I think you will really
I'll
start
enjoy
enjoying.
it more.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see. Once I get into med school, we'll see.
Maybe you can be part of the Global Research
Maybe.
Collective.
If you're
Yeah,
looking for guys
maybe.
to join, would love to
You
have
will
you.
change my mind, maybe. Yeah.
So what gaps in the research community were you hoping to address when you founded Global Research Collective?
Basically, the regional barrier. We were all from different countries, some countries which were not supported enough for research, some countries in which maybe the same case as me, where like, okay, there are obviously some physicians in Romania who do a lot of research, but just did not find the right team or the right people or even the right topic. So basically, when I graduated, and we thought we started this after the match, so it was like never like a CV type of thing. It was more of, okay, I realized that once I started enjoy like once I started doing it more and more that I am enjoying it, especially when I had the freedom to choose my own questions and something that I didn't know as a student is that database research could be very, very powerful because it's secondary research. I'm not sure how familiar are you guys with like these public databases. Yeah, basically you don't have to collect patient data or anything. They're all online. So
Online, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So after I realized that like things like this exist and I don't have to rely on maybe a mentor replying back to me or so, and learning how to do a systematic review and a meta-analysis on my own and like I was a graduate, I was like, okay, since we can do this on our own, let me see if anyone from my Instagram is actually interested in doing this. So it just started very randomly. I just posted a story asking if anyone would like to collaborate on an abstract for the American College of Physicians conference, which is like a big internal medicine conference and not thinking anything of it. So back then it was not Global Research Collective. It was just
Hmm.
Yara to MD Yara posting a story, wanting to collaborate on some research. And then I saw that a lot of people are interested. So when I started talking to them, I realized that, yeah, like they all are super interested. They have the knowledge, they have the skills, they just do not have the right team. So this is basically, I think, what it addressed really nicely the barriers that you could have from being in a, maybe in a certain med school or in a certain country when it comes to research. So that's kind of how it all started because we're from many, many different countries from all over the world. So yeah.
And is it
So,
open to any student, like medical, undergraduate, graduate, all types of students?
So initially we had it as for med students because I was just figuring things out as well. Didn't know how, like, didn't think it's gonna grow this quickly. And I wasn't even sure, like if we're gonna have any results, to be honest. But now, like that it grew, we're consistent, we have good systems, we're organized. We open it for undergrad students. We actually do have a lot of undergrad students actually interested in applying in med school. And I think we have a biomedical engineer as well. So
oh,
whoever is interested in the medical field and in the
mhm.
research that we do is welcome to join us.
And is it only database research that you guys do right currently, or are you expanded more?
So we are kind of doing database research and we got into systematic reviews and meta-analyses because it's a bit tricky when you're from different countries to work
Hmm.
maybe on like let's say like the Geisinger database. Obviously, like it's like they're very strict with this at the hospital. You can't just have anyone on that research project and anyone, and the IRB, and it gets complicated. Whereas public database, because they're all online, they're already de-identified, no such problems occur. So it's the easiest way to collaborate on an international scale.
I've never heard of that, so it's actually very interesting that
Yeah.
you guys are doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, great job. I love that. And we can move
Yeah.
on to the next set of questions.
And talking more about your online presence, social media, you built a really good following. Great job in doing that. We've learned it's very hard to really build a strong audience, which you have done greatly, especially with your global research collective. Um, how does your online presence reflect your strong commitment in both research and mentorship? And what motivated you initially to start this journey?
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. So what motivated me was that I got interested in the this whole US journey when I was in Romania, but looking around, there was no one interested in the same path because usually Romanians who like want to do or pursue residency in other countries, they do it in Europe, because usually they either know as a second language maybe German or French, so obviously that's easier for them. I did not want to do medicine in another language. For me, Romanian was hard enough, and I was a native Romanian speaker, so I was like, nope. So like, yeah, my only two options were UK, US. Australia, but not really because it was also far.
uh,
So yeah, I just did not find anyone around me, and I was like, okay, let me start my own little diary, not thinking much of it, more of just connecting with people on the same journey. So I just wanted the community initially, did not
mhm,
think it was gonna grow all the growth that it had over the past couple of years, but I realized the growth it had was because many other students from maybe Romania, Eastern Europe felt the same way, that they didn't have like a USMLE circle or people studying for the same exam. And you know how isolating it can get
mhm.
to study for an exam, especially if no one around you studying for the same thing. So that's what kind of initially motivated the whole start of the page.
And I mean, you did talk about how you posted on your story when initially you wanted to start the global collective, or research collective. How do you think social media has changed the way people interact with each other, especially medical professionals? I feel like before it was very, like trying to find your mentors or somebody to go to email or website. But now people have social media pages, and it's really easy to connect with people. How do you think that has changed in your aspect in your life where you are able to connect with other people?
Oh my God. So this is such a good question because a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, are you gonna stop like doing content once you start residency?" I'm like, "No, like this page opened up so many doors I never even imagined are
Started,
gonna open
Yeah.
Mhm.
just through this page." Like even at some point, one of my rotations, I found out about, applying to this rotation through a mentor that I met on Instagram. So um, like things like that, and obviously the Global Research Collective too. Let me think of other things. And again, like connecting with all of these study platforms that I've been using for the past couple of years, like Amboss, I've been a big user
Mhm.
for the past couple of years. So it's crazy to me that like now we're collaborating on projects together and so on. And I also think I got very, very, very good at public speaking because of my social media. I was never a natural. I know a lot of people, like, whenever I host a workshop or something, come up to me and tell me, like, oh, wow, you're such a natural. No, I'm not. But I think the social media presence helped this a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the things we I think appreciate with this podcast, especially is I was never good at speaking in front of an audience but this has helped. It has actually helped a lot.
Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
speaking in just front of a camera, especially. And talking, the last question I have for this is the future. What's the future looking like for your whole platform and everything?
So I'm gonna keep on posting content now. Let's see how much time I'm gonna have. But
Uh-huh.
my program is very supportive of my social media page, which is something that I'm super grateful for. So I want to keep on showing people because I actually kind of get annoyed sometimes because after
Hmm.
people match, they stop showing us, and you're like, that's literally the most interesting part. I want to see what it's like being a resident. Now, obviously, you have to be careful filming at the hospital and
Yeah.
all. But I want to show people what it's like, being a resident in the US. And I feel like especially younger students from Romania are super interested in this just because not a lot of people follow this path. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing
And
and
I
with
see you have been active. You even posted your the vlog for the
yeah.
orientation for your intern year, and that's amazing. I like that you're being active and posting more about it because, like you said, yeah, a lot of students have followed you throughout your journey, and now that you have finally made it, you're in your intern year, they would want to see more of it and like what's next, what's more to come, because that is the most exciting part. So I love how you take your clinical training as well as like your online presence together, but of course keeping a good balance of it because when there will be days where you would have to focus more on your clinical
Yeah.
side and
Of
work,
course.
but just keeping everybody informed and showing what you're doing, I think people would really enjoy it or appreciate you doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think because it's more of a hobby for me, it never felt like, oh, I have to post. Like, yay, I get to edit a video. Like I have some clips. So I think that that really helps because if I think that if I saw it as an obligation, I probably would have stopped maybe after matching as well. So yeah. And obviously
I,
not judging anyone who stops
uh,
because I get it, it gets very like hectic and all, but I think it's very fun to also see because I was also always like wondering like what is it really like to start residency because I did my fair shares of rotations in here but I never knew that things like orientation week started
mhm.
so happen at a program or what happens in them so I feel like it's nice to give people like share with them a little slice of
It's
what
like your passion project. Like you like doing this. That's why I'm glad like you're continuing and you can get burned out whenever you like doing something, right? That's one of the
And
best things about it.
I have a question. Was your online presence and you running Global Research Collective, was this part of your interview process for the residency matter? Did they brought this up because we interviewed another group of medical influencers, med school boys, earlier when we started our podcast, and they said this was one of their online influence was one of the most important parts
Aspects
of
of their
their application. Yeah.
application, yeah.
Very good question. So Global Research Collective was actually founded after I applied I submitted my application, but then social media, yeah, I had it as my most meaningful experience. And funny enough, just at this program that I matched in, it was brought up. So at the other programs, we never talked about it. And wait, maybe it's also like what made me like super attracted to this one program. Because I do want to be like, I want to keep on doing this and feel supported through it. So, yeah, at this program, it was brought up and they had very positive things to say about it. But at the same time, if you ask me now, or maybe future applicants, if they should put their social media on there. I think it could be seen negatively by some programs, maybe bigger academic programs, because maybe they could be thinking like, oh, like she's going to be distracted by this or something along the lines. So I don't know if I would I really don't know if I would advise people to do it or not. If it means as to them like a lot, then definitely, because it means so much to me and I did find the right program. But yeah, this is the only interview it came up in.
Amazing.
Okay, thank you for coming out.
And then are we good to move on to the next
Yeah,
segment?
let's move on to the last segment.
Amazing. So I did want to bring Global Research Collective again. So you have done an amazing job building a network that spans researchers, healthcare professionals, globally, not just in the United States or Romania. How has collaboration across different countries and backgrounds shaped your perspective on medicine and research?
Good question. So first of all, I just love that we're all fueled by like the same passion for medicine. So that's always very nice to me to see that. Okay, yeah, we probably had like very different paths, but like narrowing it down and peeling peeling everything off. You're gonna see that we all have the same passion for medicine and research because, Global Research Collective is mainly for research. So I really love that, and I think it's what keeps this group moving forward. That everyone is very passionate. So I hope this answers your question. Can you
No,
reiterate
that
what?
that
Yeah,
does. Yeah,
okay.
'cause, the question was like, how has this shaped your perspective on medicine and just the research community? And I feel like you have answered my question. You did a great job in building this network. How fast has it grown once from you started to now? How many people are there in the community now?
Okay, good question. So because we just expanded, so we started off, I think, as 20 people. Then we expanded. So this was in November, December 2025. So
Man.
after
Oh,
applying and
so
all.
less than a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
less
Only been
than.
a month. Wow.
bringing
Yeah, this is
growth
what
in a
I say
year.
when
Yeah.
when people are passionate, it's gonna like keep on growing and moving. And then afterwards, yeah, we never had like proper applications. I would just ask people on my Instagram if they're interested to like just reach out to me and we can talk a bit more about it. Um, or I made no, actually I made a Google form, but it was like a quick Google form. And then now, in May, June, like before starting residency, I wanted to expand again because I knew that I'm probably not going to have the time to do it again later in the year. And we're up to 110
Oh,
members now
wow.
Wow. That's
from,
amazing. And that's
Yeah.
very fast growth. It's been 7 or 8 months since you started. So great job. Amazing. I
thank
love it. And we can move on to our last segment now,
All
Melissa.
right. Last segment, advice for our viewers, your viewers too, right? What do you think students most overlook or misunderstand about what it really takes to build a meaningful and fulfilling career in medicine and research?
Good question. So I think, especially in medicine, you can get caught up comparing yourself to people and I like my advice would be to like just focus on your own path. Find what you like. You really might not like research, and that's completely fine. You can be a great clinician, a great doctor without any research. So do not let this pressure you into like getting into the academia world if you don't want to, you know. Um, but at least, I advise people to at least know how to read a research paper because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help the patient the most. All of these advances in medicine. So if you know how to read the method section, a bit about the results and conclusion, I think that's enough. Does not mean that you have to like pursue a whole career in academia. What else? I keep on losing track of the questions.
I know it's long questions. I can't blame you. They're long
You're-
questions. But like, I guess kind of simplify it is one advice for any student that wants to build a good career in medicine. Just
Okay,
one quick advice.
one quick advice. If there's any outside negativity from anyone around you, but you try to keep that belief in yourself, like do it. Just keep on believing in
Just do it.
yourself because sometimes it could be like things could get negative.
Mhm.
I'm talking from my own experience. People around you might not be understanding what you're doing, might, give you some remarks here and there. I think I've heard over the past couple of years that why the States so hard, impossible a million times, but that did not stop me because I knew I wanted to be here. I did my rotations here. I liked it here. So if it gets to that, try to like block out and focus on what you want to do. If you have a goal strong enough, cling on to it, and that should be fine.
I love
Great
the answer.
advice.
And it is you versus you. No one else should matter.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
love that. And last question to you. For a student listening right now who feels overwhelmed about their future in science or medicine, what is one truth you wish someone told you earlier in your own journey when you were about to start medical school training?
Ah, one truth. Maybe this could also tie in my advice. To focus on your journey. Do not compare yourself to others because, maybe yeah, others are getting. I was in a med school that had grading system. I know here some med schools have a pass-fail system. Not sure what you guys go to, but it's very easy to get lost and compare yourself and think that you're not doing enough. But be your own biggest supporter. Keep on doing what you're doing. If this is truly what you want to do, I think, yeah, it just ties in into my last advice, believe in yourself.
I love that.
Because it gets hard sometimes to do it. Like
Hmm.
easier said, definitely easier said than done. But always remind yourself why. I think if you have a why that's strong enough, it's gonna keep you pushing.
I love that. I love what you said
Yeah.
about not comparing yourself to anybody else because I also read this quote online that said comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison
Yeah.
is the thief of joy, yeah.
Yeah.
So I love all the advice that you've given us, Dr. Shab, and I think that brings us to a wrap. So
Yeah. I mean, before we do start the outros, how's the first interview? You like it?
Wait, what? Wait.
what did you
How
think
was the
about the
interview?
podcast?
Yeah, how was the
Oh,
podcast?
okay. Good.
It's your
This is
first
my
podcast?
yeah, it's my
Yeah,
first ever
yeah,
podcast, which is why I
Amazing.
was a bit nervous, and because I have a shirt on, it was kind of giving residency interview. And I was like, oh no.
I mean, we
Oh,
usually try to do it in person. I feel like in person podcasts are just better, but
it's
in the
better.
future, hopefully we will get a chance to have you on the podcast in person.
No,
Yeah.
it was
If
nice.
somehow we are traveling to Pennsylvania, closer to Scranton, I forgot the city you live in, but closer to Scranton, we would love to stop by and maybe have a in-person interview with you. I
Yeah.
think that
Definitely.
would be amazing
You
to
guys
do.
Yeah.
are in Texas though, right?
Yeah, in
Maybe
Texas.
I'll be the one coming to you because I
Maybe,
have I
maybe.
have a vacation in January and I don't want to stay here in the cold. So
Oh, that's amazing. Wait,
Okay.
are you visiting Houston or some other city?
I don't know, but I do have a friend in Houston.
Okay.
So I'll need to talk to my friends and see whoever has a break so I
Yeah,
can, yeah.
Hey,
let
let
us
us
know. We would
know.
love to have you in person. I think you were an amazing guest.
Yeah.
You have a lot of great advice for our viewers, and we would love to sit down and have a conversation. And
Yeah. Bring you
maybe
on
we can go
again.
grab some food afterwards. I think
Uh,
this would be really good. Yes.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for coming on. I feel like it's very valuable to highlight the early journeys behind physicians who decided to put so much work in and effort in, right? I feel like journeys like yourself, for example, are motivating for a lot of students who might be kind of confused or where they're at and might think medicine or whatever career might not be for them. But it's good to highlight journeys like yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was very nice talking to you. I was nervous for a split second, then I saw you guys and it went away.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And to our Dreamers audience, if Dr. Shab's story inspired you, feel free to follow us, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time at episode 17.